Beloved, as we move into this weekend, the third Sunday from Pentecost, ironically, many of the readings of the sacred text are from the Psalms of disorientation. The late Walter Brueggemann, in his work on the Psalms, spoke of the three sections of Psalms in the book of Psalms: Psalms of radical disorientation, misorientation, and reorientation. All of us at times find ourselves in places we'd rather not be and having to wrestle with the kind of negative emotions and feelings and sometimes afflictive emotions and feelings that are uncomfortable. And that's a form of suffering that, if you've been through it, and I'm sure all of you have because we're all human beings, it's not fun. And David, because he is a worshiper and knows that part of his own way of processing his pain is that he's got to bring everything to speech. And he's not just going to bring it to speech, he's going to bring it to speech in a worshipful way. So there's almost a therapeutic dynamic going on in Psalm 42. We all know the psalm: as the deer pants for the waters, the water brook, so my soul pants for thee, O God. My soul thirsts for the living God. When shall I come and appear before the presence of God? My tears have been my food day and night, while all day long they say to me, they are always around, whether they are physical enemies or spiritual, they are always accusing us. Where's your God now? Why isn't God doing? You always claim you're anointed, you've got this, you've got that. Where's God? And those accusations, when you're in a painful place, just like Job with his so-called friends, they cut deep, because none of that helps. It only adds to our pain. And David reminds himself, Lord, there was a day I lead everybody in worship. I was the one leading in praise and thanksgiving, and now I feel like you took a vacation and left me all alone. He feels abandoned. And yet he doesn't stop talking to God. He feels isolated, but he doesn't stop worshiping the Lord. He loves the Lord too much to cut himself off from God. And he's talking to his soul in agonizing despair between the extremes he's wrestling with. And he's saying to his soul, put your trust in God. Life's not over yet. You're going to get through this. So he's vividly depicting his experience of spiritual and emotional desolation. And he's even getting really creative about it. My tears have been my food. Who eats tears for meals? Well, David is actually learning in the process of worship how to bring everything to speech in a way that uses metaphors to help him process his pain. And because of that, he's articulating, even in the midst of a lived experience of the seeming absence of God, that God still hears, God still knows, God still cares, and God is still moving. Ask yourself, as you look back on your journey, how many times you've been taught by God out of his sense of absence what it means to live in his presence. It's so easy to take the presence of God for granted, right? And there are times where God hides his face. He doesn't withdraw from us. He just hides his face to teach us that absence makes us more thirsty for presence. And so, in the same way that when a deer is craving for water and it lifts its powerful sensors in its nose to pick up the scent of water on the wind, because the wind carries the scent of water. The wind of the Spirit carries the scent of where the water brooks are in our lives. And as we pick up that scent, we begin to run and pant with anticipation that when we get to the water, we'll be refreshed. That's existential thirst. Blessed are they who hunger and thirst after righteousness. Right now, David's hungering is being satisfied by tears. What he needs, though, is that his thirst to be satisfied by a living flow of life-giving water. And so he's very self-aware. He's vulnerable. He feels isolated. He feels cut off. And he's also having to deal with all these folk that are saying, where's your God? Now, we may not be dealing with folk that do that to us at the moment, but we all deal with the enemy of our soul who, when we find ourselves in the doldrums, where's God now? I thought you said God was good. Where is he? And We have to learn how to keep talking to God and not wasting our time all the time talking to the enemy. That doesn't mean there aren't appropriate seasons where you talk back to the devil. That you don't ever want to abandon. However, sometimes you just need to realize the devil's there. Pay the devil no mind. Keep talking through your pain to the Father through Christ by the Spirit, because you are loved and you will never be forsaken. And you still have a future. Allow your awareness to be like David's, that when you feel internally fragmented and long for God to put you back together again from whatever you're going through, that your trust is in the one who says to us through Paul, "No, all things work together for good for those who love God and are the called according to his purpose." That's you, and nothing will happen to you that God will not turn for your good and for his glory. Always remember and never forget, God is up to something good.